What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to My Social Life. This is the podcast where we teach you how to grow on social media by talking to people that have actually done it. Today, I'm joined by Hamel. Blue has over 100,000 Instagram followers. He's a creative director, a visual artist. Blue, welcome to the podcast, man.
Thank you so much for having me on.
My
looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm excited. So I wanted to start the podcast was with back in New Zealand, because that's where you're from.
For sure.
Were you always interested in fashion back home? Was that something that was always of interest to you?
Yeah, well, since growing up, my parents have been in the industry. They're workers, they own hair salons, and they have their own hair products and businesses. So from a young age, I was pretty exposed to kind of that industry of art and fashion. And I was very fortunate to be able to travel with them and kind of experience a little bit more and grow my own kind of interpretation on fashion in some sense. And since I was a little kid, I was always wearing trying to wear fashion. I was wearing Ralph Lauren all day, every day, and then my style has definitely evolved over time for sure. Yeah.
And then I know I saw a photo on your Instagram back in the day. It was like a Supreme sticker or something on the wall, and it said where it all began or something like that. Is there a story behind that, or?
No, it was kind of just I've been kind of, yeah, it's kind of so I kind of was interested in just fashion in general, and then got more into the streetwear scene, especially on social media, coming in about and seeing this scene a bit more, because back in New Zealand it's a lot more the industry is a lot different back there than it is out here, especially in New York. We weren't exposed to the skate scene Supreme his hair, or we weren't exposed to a lot of the fashion industry till a lot later than what people get here at an age group. So for instance, when I was younger, I was more just interested in but more that formal kind of wear, and a little bit more what your parents are kind of understand as fashion. And then when you learn a bit more and expose yourself a bit more, especially through online the internet and stuff, then you learn a lot more about how fashion is for everyone else out here, especially. And then it's just grown for me, for my style personally. But other than that, it wasn't really from that image.
No.
Yeah,
that's very fair. And then you went to school at Auckland, right?
Yeah, I went to school. So I grew up in Christchurch when I was little. My family from out in Christchurch, so I was there to about my last year of high school, and then I moved up to Auckland. I did my last year up there for majority for my sport. I play a lot of sport, and then also to I was going to go up there for university, so it was a good way to open doors and meet people before going into uni. So.
And then what'd you take at uni? It was business related, not fashion related, right?
Yeah, that's right. So I did business, advertising, and marketing. It was, I don't know, I've always been interested in fashion in general, but I never thought about studying or anything in fashion, because I feel it's more a hobby of mine than a full-on passion. Yeah, and business is just a good door opener as well, because it's so open.
Yeah,
in the sense of what you can get into. And then, but majoring in advertising was kind of what I really wanted to get into advertising. So it was really cool to be studying it and kind of learning a lot more about it.
Yeah, and I think a big thing for students when they first come out is they're looking at all these entry level positions, and it says you need 2 to 3 years experience just to get an entry level position. I think I saw on your website you said you were able to get almost 4 years worth of working experience while you were studying.
Yeah.
How are you able to do that? Just kind of advice for students now that are just starting their journey into post secondary education. What are some things that you did to get that experience while studying?
Yeah, for sure. So so for me, I'm really I kind of being more of a practical type of person, so doing things. And at uni, it's good to be there, and obviously you need to learn, but the biggest thing is nowadays everyone's coming out with degrees, and it's really hard when you come out with a degree and then all these jobs are oh, have you had experience in the industry? And I was I heard about that a lot, and I was really interested to learn about what I was actually learning at uni. So I was I need to go out and get experience as much as I could. So I was very fortunate to have some contacts into I started with a magazine company called Bauer Media and worked for them for about 2 years as an intern in Fashion Quarterly. It was a fashion magazine back in New Zealand. And then from there, I started working for another company called Triumph and Disaster, which was another contact. Luckily, contacts was definitely like a helpful thing of getting me into these places. But as soon as I like got myself in there, I learned a lot more and I grew, and it kind of took a lot more time than uni. Like I was working a lot more, but I was still trying to study. It was fine, but it was just I felt more beneficial doing that. And then I went to Ogilvy for a year and a half as an intern, and then as I graduated, I got a full-time job. Or like as I finished, I got a full-time job.
Yeah. So looking back on it, would you say getting that work experience was almost more valuable than school?
Yeah, vice versa. The work hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
Like for instance, like learning what you're learning at uni and then putting into real practical things you can actually understand if you really enjoy what you're doing at uni. And I think a lot of people study these things and they think they enjoy them, and when they actually get into the industry or it's into the job, they don't actually enjoy what they've done, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So it really made my uni life a lot better for me because I loved what I was doing outside of uni. So it kind of really made me like want to get through it and then obviously get out into the industry as soon as I could.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then when you worked for Ogilvy, that was in New Zealand still?
Yeah, that's right.
Wasn't here. So what were you doing when you were working with Ogilvy?
So I worked as a content creator, so I was / art director. So I did a lot, worked with brands, and we like social and digital, and we went out and did shoots, and we came up with campaign ideas, how we're going to like produce the shoots, and then go out and do them. So it was and capture content however we could. Yeah. So.
And then so when you were producing content for a company, was it different than when you were producing content for yourself, or did you figure it was pretty similar?
Yeah, different in the sense of like the outcome of like, especially like how creative you can get in some senses, but in the sense of like how you'd shoot, like the shoots would happen, yeah, it's pretty similar. And it was like a good way to learn and like use the opportunity to be able to like use the equipment to do my own personal shoots or make contacts. The biggest thing was making contacts. So like I'd go on a shoot, for instance, and I'd meet someone on there that then I'd collaborate with afterwards for my personal work. And that's how I kind of like, that's why I like to work in the industry and work for a company still as well, because I meet so many interesting people and so many people that I can collaborate outside of that with my personal work, which it's been really, really beneficial actually. Like I started building a team of people for my own personal work through people that I met through the industry.
Okay.
So it's definitely a way of like getting your way into the industry, which has been
100%. And is that where you started to dabble and learn with things like Premiere Pro and After Effects?
Yes, for sure. So like I was doing it a lot for myself personally, but then my skill set definitely grew a lot stronger because I ended up having to do it on a day-to-day basis, and like not studying any of that or not like it really, I just like threw myself into it, and it was a really good way of learning.
Yeah.
Like I'm still not at all an expert at all. Like there's still so much to learn, but it's so good to be able to like throw yourself. I feel like that's the best way. Like throw yourself into it, and you actually learn and you figure out things by yourself, and then you can reapply it in a way that is more like, so you can reapply it in your own way or reapply it in the way that you're doing for work. So yeah, it's been really good.
Yeah. Were there any resources that you went to when you were trying to learn Premiere Pro and After Effects?
For sure, YouTube's the best place in the world. It's like it's pretty much university for anything now. Yeah, so there was that, and then we also had video Copilot. We have like an alliance at Ogilvy, so I got to use that and like learn from that. But YouTube was definitely like the biggest place. Like I just like, if I really needed to know any like little hack, I just straight YouTube it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then so you recently moved from New York before we got started. You said about 8 months ago.
Yeah, that's right.
So were you working with Ogilvy up until you moved to New York?
Yeah, so I was pretty much. So I'd always wanted to come overseas somehow, and I was always wanting to either go to Europe, UK, or the States. And the only way for me to leave was like if I had a job. I wouldn't want to leave without coming over here without a job.
Absolutely.
And so I was always like open to whatever would happen. And I was very fortunate for the opportunity to come work over here for Annex. And so from that, I kind of took the opportunity straight away and kind of, so I worked for Ogilvy right up to the last minute of leaving. yeah, I was so fortunate to be working for them. I learned so much and grew as a person in my like field of work. But it kind of came to the point that I was like, I need to get somewhere to keep growing. You don't want to be stuck somewhere and like stuck in the same position for too long, or you just feel like you're going through the same motion. And I was like, I need to like get. I think like for me to go overseas or push myself more and more and put myself into like a new environment, it definitely helps me grow further. So it was really a good opportunity to come over here, and it's been the best thing I've ever done in my life. So,
Yeah, that's awesome.
yeah.
So I mean, like from an outside perspective, like moving all the way from New Zealand to New York must seem like a daunting thing. So do you have any advice for people that are wanting to move to the city?
Yeah, I think especially because I came to New York and I have a few acquaintances here and stuff, and obviously through social and Instagram and stuff. But yeah, it is obviously a daunting thing to look into, but I would have to say give it a go. Just do it. Like if you've got the opportunity to do it. So we're like it's such a big world out like in the world, but it's so small as well, and it's so good to like experience. Experience is the biggest thing for sure. Even if you just come for like 6 months and not like it, but at least you say you've done it. You know what I mean? And like probably the biggest thing I could give advice for though is just put yourself out there and just try anything. If you get the opportunity, do it. That's all I'd say. I think like I know it's hard for some people and stuff because if they don't have friends or don't have contacts, but New York's everyone's in the same boat here. Like we're all pretty much not from here, and everyone comes here to work. So it's really like everyone is open and they're actually very friendly. Like it was crazy. Like when I first got here, I'd sit down on the train or I'd be on the train and just have this conversation with like people just talk to you, and it was like I've met the craziest people that are my friends now that just came up to me from the street. Like my best mate now, literally just came up to me from on the street, just started talking to me, and now we're like really good friends and like. Yeah, it's crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so you said like if you get the opportunity, you should make that jump. So when did the opportunity come up for you that you were like, okay, now's the time?
Yeah, so I was like always looking and just like casually, and then I was actually funny thing, it was actually my boss from NX. He was actually on a podcast and I was listening to his podcast, and what he was talking about in the industry of advertising and what he was trying to do with his company, and I was like, wow, this is incredible, and like I was just really interested to talk to him. So I actually just started chatting to him on Instagram, just like casually for fun, not in in any sense of trying to come over to here or to get a job or anything. We're just chatting, like, and then he just said put me in touch with the HR lady here, and it just kind of like. It was crazy. It wasn't really like I was looking or anything through that, but it was just an opportunity that arose from that, and then it kind of just kept growing and growing, and then became into reality, which was like, yeah, amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's just cool. That like just shows the power of Instagram and what you can accomplish.
100%.
Like just as an example, our entire trip here was pretty much all through reaching out to people like yourself through Instagram DM.
For sure.
Right? Like it's just crazy
It's
what
insane.
you can do.
It's like it's the new way of getting in touch. It's like that's exactly the same for me here. Like a few of my friends that I've made for like shooting, like we've been out on shoots and stuff, and like collaborating was all through Instagram. And like I started it before I came over here. I made sure I just connected with a few people just to make sure I had some connections here. And like one of him, I don't know but his name's Jimmy. Jimmy on Instagram. He's like one of my good mates now, but shoots a lot of my content, and he's incredible, and it's been an amazing opportunity meeting him, and he's like so talented, and it's just so cool how we could be anywhere in the world but still connect through Instagram. Yeah, Instagram's definitely a platform that's definitely changed the industry for sure.
Yeah, 100%. And then so can you tell us a little bit about your job now? Like what are you doing here with Annex?
Yeah, I'm working on a day-to-day. I work as like a art director, especially with a team. We have a team of about 12 of us, and we majority just work on Adidas originals. And then sometimes we work on other special projects, like at the moment I've been working on Adidas. We just came back from Paris. We worked on Y3 for the Paris fashion show, and then also Adidas Young Designer Show out there. And then I've been working on a Moncler project. So Annex has got a lot of different clients, like a wide range, but very fashion majority clients. But Adidas is definitely our biggest client. So it's been really amazing opportunity working for a client like Adidas. Like I've done personal work for them for my own work, but now working for the global brand itself, like with Germany, it's been really amazing. So we work so for instance, on a day-to-day with them, for instance, we'll have a campaign that comes about and we come up with creative and social ideas and digital ideas of how we're going to roll out the product, or however, whatever we're doing. So if it's an event, how we're going to capture the event, and then if it's an influencer, how we're going to use that influencer in a way through social.
That's interesting. Influencer marketing really fascinates me. Do you have any like tips or advice for people, like businesses that are looking to reach out to influencers and work with them?
Yeah, it's just making sure you pick the right influencer for the right brand, and make sure it's someone that can really talk to the consumer through your brand as well. There's a lot of brands that just reach out to any influencer because they've got a following, for instance. But sometimes it's not how big the following or anything it is, it's how they resonate with your brand, and then also how they talk to their market as well. For instance, that's what I'm learning, especially like just in general. It's not how many followers you have on Instagram, or how big your platform is. It's more how much influence you actually have on those followers as well. But I think brands are learning a bit more now than just reaching out to any person. Like I said, it's really specifically choosing the right person for the job. Because sometimes, even if they are like this massive influencer and everyone loves them, doesn't mean they're going to be the right person for your brand.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go.
I was going to say that makes me think of this example. I had someone on the podcast a couple months ago now, and they're very, very specific to Ottawa where we're from. Like their niche is very Ottawa, so she says she gets brand deals pretty much every day just because she offers such a specific targeting that brands know exactly what they're going to get. She doesn't have hundreds of thousands of followers. I think she's just under 20,000, but it's so specific and targeted that brands come to her all the time.
Yeah, see, it's crazy. It's really cool because she probably has such a dominant market there, and that's why brands come for her to get that dominance.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you mentioned when you were talking that you went to Paris recently.
Yeah.
How was that experience?
Yeah, it was amazing. It was like we were working every day and like we didn't really get to, like, it wasn't much of a holiday time, but it was amazing. It was really cool to like experience, because I've been to fashion weeks before and been around it, but it's really cool being behind the scenes and actually working properly there. So it's really cool to like the people we met, the experiences we had, and it was really, it was actually unbelievable. It's been fortunate. I've been very fortunate being here at Annex to get these opportunities. So
yeah,
it's definitely growing my industry.
Yeah, that's awesome. Is there ever a thought to start your own clothing company? I know you did some work with, I think it's Vetma Clothing.
It's just a brand that I love to, But in the sense of clothing, I don't know, I love fashion. I've always been around it, and obviously like we talked about before, but I don't know yet. I think it could come about in the future in some way. I definitely like to design like personal clothes and like create like alterations to clothes for my personal, but in the sense of a brand, I don't know yet for clothing. There's definitely, I've got a brand coming up for a hair product at the moment that I'm working on. So there is some sense into that industry, but no formal of doing clothing right now. Maybe in the future, for sure. Do people ever come up to you and like you're wearing a piece of clothing that you've altered for yourself, and they ask where you got it? Yeah, there are a few people who have come up and asked like, where'd you get that from? Or, because I do get stuff made. Like I've got a lady that makes clothing for me back home when I need it, but. Yeah, sometimes they have, but it's more when I'm wearing like clothing that they've seen before, brands they've seen before, for sure. And then you talk about you have your own product coming. Are you able to tell us a little bit about that as well, or is it still pretty early on? It's still pretty early on, but it's definitely coming out really soon. It's been in the ranks for a while, but it's a fully like organic product, natural from back home in New Zealand, from start to finish. It's like all 100% no it's keratin. It's a keratin product, but there's no ugly product in it at all. So there's no chemicals, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's my father's actually, he creates his own products. So I've been working with him to like create my own through him. So using his factories and stuff. So it's going to be interesting. So
Yeah.
see, I'll definitely stay tuned for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And then I also saw you made a post on your Instagram with Snap Rentals and said big things are coming soon. Are you involved with them quite a bit, or?
Yeah, when I was back home, I was working with them quite a bit. They're launching this new like way of using Tesla in a way that you can. It's like a new app, which is they're like one of my friends, and then he hit me up to start promoting it for him.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't really done anything now since obviously being out here. But it was kind of it was just an opportunity that I got to like when they were trying to build this like app. They've got Teslas and they're gonna like drop them around the city and people can order them through the app.
Cool.
So it's kind of like Uber, but like a rental car company. So you just rent it for an hour. So for instance, you just say I need a Tesla here.
Mm-hmm.
They drop the car off to you. You can hire it for however long you want. So I was just helping promote it. It was kind of just like I was trying to like promote it through that and say things are coming, but yeah, it wasn't nothing associated to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. But with your Instagram, you have over 100,000 followers right now.
Mm.
I was curious as to where the name came from. Half of Nothing.
Mm.
How'd you come up with that name?
Funny thing, I was actually talking to one of my best friends the other day about that. He's like, we were kind of like, we're just like chilling in my bedroom one day when I was little, like younger, when I was trying to start Instagram. This was like, I think 6 years ago or something, just as soon as Instagram was starting.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I don't know, I didn't want to have like my personal name on it, because as I started Instagram and Tumblr and stuff, it was kind of like that's how I took it like Tumblr, right?
Mm-hmm.
When people just use a random name and make up a random name, and there was actually no meaning behind it. But I think now it kind of, when I've been looking into it, it's just like a juxtaposition kind of thing, and it kind of is meant to make you stop and think about it, but it actually in the end means nothing, right? Half of nothing means nothing. So it's kind of just like it didn't really come from anywhere. We were just kind of just like playing around, talking about things, and it was like, so, but since the start of Instagram, I've always had that name.
Mm-hmm.
So I never, like a lot of people have been on Instagram and changed their name from like constantly. I've always had that since day one, so I haven't actually changed anything.
Yeah.
Since then.
That's pretty cool.
But yeah, there's no huge backstory to it. No, for sure.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And then you talk about using it from day one. I know back when you first started Instagram, you were just using it like everybody else. When did you make the switch where you're like, I'm really going to try and grow this now?
Yeah, it was kind of when I started getting into like a bit more into photography and videography, for sure. It was kind of like, I want to now start using this as more of a platform where I can like showcase work and showcase things that I was interested in a bit more. Yeah, it was just like it just switched up. I was like, oh, I could probably take it, make the most of the opportunity that we have on social to like create a following or try to, and like it wasn't really even just for that. It was just kind of, I wanted a platform to showcase some work. So that it was probably like, as soon as I decided that I wanted to do that, that's when it kind of changed. Mm-hmm. And as soon as it changed, it kind of everything started to come together a bit more and grow a bit more from there. And it was really cool.
Yeah, were there any like strategies or techniques you used to try and help yourself scale? Like maybe used a bunch of different hashtags or anything like that?
Oh, to grow?
Yeah.
When I started definitely like seeing the growth happen was definitely through like reposting. It was the time that reposting was really like showing a lot in the sense of growth. So kind of an engagement. It was definitely, that's where I kind of started growing a lot more. And especially, like getting reposted on like bigger Instagrams, for instance, like Hypebeast and these other platforms that at the time all their content was just reposting content. They weren't creating their own content. And that just started to grow and grow and grow from there. And just the connections that I made from that, and like it was just really cool. It was like crazy.
That's awesome. And then when did you start to incorporate moving images into your Instagram? That's what really caught my eye when I came. Like, you have all these really cool, really well done videos slash them look like images, but then they start moving. Like, when did you start incorporating that?
Yeah, I was like, I don't know. I just saw an opportunity on Instagram that like I love video content and photos and stuff. Obviously, are amazing, and like I love photography and everything. But I was always like, videos tell so much more of a story, even if it's something a little bit more, just even slight video. It's just got a lot more. It's more engaging for the viewer. So it's like I really want to incorporate fashion and some way of incorporating fashion in content, and like doing short animations is sometimes easier, obviously in the sense of the edit. Like you don't have to go out and shoot at multiple locations and everything, but it still takes time, and people like understand that and they kind of like appreciate that as well. But then also it's a little bit more interesting. So I just enjoy doing video content right now, and I just saw there was there's not as many people doing video content in fashion, especially for outfits and stuff. It's a lot of like people like to do like fit pics, and which are like dope, and obviously you get to see the clothing more. But I kind of wanted to incorporate video, like crazy, try and bring in animation and stuff, and incorporate fashion in some way. So that was kind of like when I was like, let's start just doing video content, and that's what I've been doing since.
Yeah. How long does it take you to kind of put one of those posts together?
Yeah, it really depends on like what we shoot, and if it's like, it depends if it's a multiple, but sometimes it can be like really quick. Like I shot one in Paris, and then a post, and it's literally, I got the team that was actually shooting. They shot me, and it took like, it only takes like 15 minutes to shoot it sometimes, then like another like half an hour maybe to edit it.
Oh, that's not
But
bad.
yeah, it depends. But then in terms of like, if it's one of the more animation heavy ones, or like the transitions are heavy, then it takes a lot longer.
Yeah,
for sure.
Where do your ideas come from to make these posts? Because they're pretty creative. You know what I mean? Like, how do you figure? Like, how do you decide to make them?
Just yeah, it just kind of like, it really depends on like what it is, but it's just like using different transitions and then incorporating in a way that I can like showcase that. So it's not like it's brand new all the time, or like that transition's never been happened, but it's just kind of like incorporating that in my own way as well. But I don't know, just randomly sometimes just talking, even like with Jimmy, if we go out and shoot or something, I'll just be like, either just start talking to him, we're like, what's next, what should we do, and we just kind of like collaborate on things and like just chat and like, yeah, just talk about it. And it's like also what I love about Instagram, like just going back to Instagram, sorry if I'm jumping off.
No, it's all good.
Like I use Instagram literally, like, you know, a lot of people to use Instagram to like slide into girls' DMs or slide into people's DMs, like use it more for that. I slide into people's DMs to do work with, so that's kind of like my like kind of thing. Like I'll jump into someone's DMs to work with them, and like it's kind of, I enjoy working with people that already have their own style and techniques. So like Jimmy already had his own. He does like a lot of cinemagraphs and a lot of using imagery, like photography, and then putting it into some way to make video. So I was like, let's incorporate that as well, and let's work together and collaborate through that. And that's kind of like how I do it as well, collaborate with either the other content person, or the person who's going to shoot, or another person who wants to be, you know, like we're working together, we collaborate in that way. And use their kind of style as well. There's another guy I've been working with from Perth, his name's Matt, and he does a lot of animation based stuff. He does a lot of scenes, like environmental scenes. He loves that kind of aesthetic. But I was like, I love his work, and I love the animation. Like Cinema 4D is like my favorite thing right now, like especially full like 3D animation is my favorite thing. So I was like, I really love your work. Is there any way that we could collaborate in some way? And then we started talking about it, and we're like, let's incorporate yours and Jim, and we incorporated it, and that's what we actually just did. I just did a job for T-Mobile, and we incorporated him into that to make a scene, which was like, yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. And so do you have an upload strategy? I know you said you have a post coming, but I don't think you've posted yet this year. Like, is there a schedule you try to follow? Or
yeah, like I like to post when mine's like quality over quantity. I feel that especially even the people that I like talk to on the people that see my work and like that I could work with, they're more there to see like the right content, and they come there to like they're interested in the content more than just like constantly seeing me posting every day. And that's what I've kind of come to realize, especially in my work. It's just when I've got the right thing and I'm happy with it, then I'll post it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like just trying to get as much out there in front of everyone all the time and bombard them with all this content, because sometimes it's just not the right stuff and it doesn't feel like that's not me, that's not what I'm like. So I like to make sure that I have so many right now to post. I just haven't posted. I'm about to, but it's just there's no like actual proper schedule how I do it or anything. But it's just making sure that the quality's there before I put it out, for sure.
Yeah.
I think. Also now, because doing video, it sometimes does take a bit more time, and I have to plan the shoot out more and do that than just going out and taking a photo and then putting it out. Yeah, for sure.
Fair. And then when you do decide to make those posts, is there like a time of day or a day of the week that you kind of trend towards where you see better engagement?
Yeah, I used to always just post at night. Like nighttime was like a big thing to me. I still do post at night, but I think with the algorithms and everything on Instagram now, it really doesn't matter exactly what time you post. Definitely like during the earlier sides of the week, it's probably better because people are a bit more just like at home on Instagram, kind of just like chilling. But then like in the weekends, obviously people are out entertaining, like it's kind of basic, in the sense of like that knowledge, but in the sense of having a proper regime schedule, not really. Not anymore, because the algorithms have changed. And it's not done on a time basis, or it's not done, which is like the algorithms have definitely changed Instagram a lot, and it's like what's next what are they going to do next? But at the moment, there's no specific time for
that's fair. And you touched on earlier how you worked with T-Mobile. I think you've also done some stuff with Adidas on your own account. How did those deals kind of come to be? Because those are some pretty big companies. How did they reach out to you? How did you end up collaborating with them?
So in terms of Adidas, back home in New Zealand, I formed a relationship with them as a client through a company called Showroom 22. They did a lot of PR, and they reached out to me, and we started doing a lot of content through them, which was really cool. And I was on a lot of their campaigns from like so from the start when I was with them, that was really good. And then I actually started forming a full-on relationship with Adidas there. And then they would actually just reach out to me like personally, and we started working a lot more, and they still reach out to me out here, which is cool. So awesome. I'm working with New Zealand Adidas still, and then also I've worked with Global through here. And then with other brands like T-Mobile and other, they usually just hit me up through Instagram, just like through that really. They just reached out. They really liked one of my content pieces, and they wanted to collaborate with me and use that technique and create something for them. So something that me and Jimmy did out here first when I got here, they really liked that transition and that formula. So they wanted me to recreate that in some way for their brand. And that's what we did, which was really cool. It was a really cool opportunity, to be honest.
Yeah, and do they pay you to do these shoots, or is it just kind of like they give you product and then you go and you work with the product?
It depends. Mostly definitely like the payment usually now. It does depend on the brand as well, like these other opportunities that arise. Maybe if I really like the brand or really want to work with them, for sure. But in terms of like working with like other people, like creators with me, I like to like make sure that I can pay them, obviously, because it's their business too. And like for our shoots, we want to do it to a more standard, so it's definitely like we try and use like equipment, lighting and everything. So definitely like it's good when brands can pay. Sometimes they can't, so it's good to keep that relationship there for sure. And it's not all about trying to get like, it's more just budget to shoot it sometimes, just to pay the team. I don't really care about me not getting it or whatever, but it's more just to make sure that everyone around me is happy. Because I just love doing it for fun, so I'd rather just do it if I can, even if they can't afford to. For sure.
I was curious if ever any non-fashion companies reach out to you trying to work with you.
Yeah, I've definitely had a lot.
I mean, I guess T-Mobile.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. It's just, yeah, there is a lot, and it's like, for me, I don't want to stray too far away from my brand and just take on every client that comes to me. And that's why, like I said before, it's good to be like specific in the sense if they work for you or if the brand works for the influencer, then the content's going to be better, right? So I just make sure I look at the brand and like understand the brand and be like, do you think I can create something in my aesthetic to be able to post? And then if I think I can talk to the brand about it, and they're willing to, if they've reached out to me, they're obviously willing to use my aesthetic. So then, yeah, if that's right, then I will work with them. But if it's way off brand and it's not gonna, like, I don't feel like I can create something that will be still in my aesthetic, then I just kind of try and keep that relationship there in some way, but or like open up another opportunity, like say I'll do this for you, but I might not be able to post it, but we'll create the content for you. Or yeah, like I've shot for a lot of, like, worked with a lot of brands but just didn't post about it because it wasn't really in my aesthetic, but we just create the content for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, for sure, it's just kind of making sure that they are in your aesthetic or your style, so you don't stray too far away. Because I feel there are a lot of people that is given to the industry and just do it, work with everyone. There's nothing wrong with that if you want to do that, but for me, I've got my aesthetic and my kind of, I want to keep my branding kind of vibes, and it's more my side project as well. So I like to just make sure it's still to the, like, yeah, to the level that I want to keep it, you know.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Do you ever reach out to companies that you really like that you want to try and work with?
For sure, I definitely like to get in contact and start chatting, and not really always to like, yeah, just to be like, do you want to collaborate in some way? It depends on the company for sure, but yeah, I definitely reach out and just start a conversation for sure.
How do you usually reach out? Because for some people, I feel like they don't exactly know how to reach out to a company to try to get them to respond. Like just sending a company, hey, is going to get you nowhere. So what does your kind of initial message look like to try and make sure that you get their attention and get them to respond?
For sure. For me, it's if you have an idea for them, they're really more willing, and I like to get back, especially if you like either pitch to them kind of, and like that's what I'm finding out here in the a lot of people do pitch out to brands a lot more, and if you have an idea for them and you pitch to them, they're going to be a lot more willing because they know that you're really interested. And then if it's a cool idea or something interesting that they haven't done, or it's going to help them, of course they'll reach back to you, you know what I mean? So, but sometimes it's not first, like they're not going to, sometimes it's a follow-up email or it's a follow-up, but when they see that you're putting in the time and they see that you have an idea for them, then they're a lot more willing to come back to you, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It does depend on the company, for
Of
sure.
course. Yeah.
Yeah.
And a question I like to ask people, because I'm really curious, is what would you do if you woke up tomorrow and all of your photos and all of your followers were gone? What would you do to start to try and grow again on Instagram in 2019?
Wow. Yeah, that is a good question. For me, I definitely keep doing what I'm doing for sure, but I would go probably, yeah, it would be a lot different for sure. But I just keep creating, keep doing the way that I'm doing, and just see how it goes. It's, for me, it doesn't. Yeah, it's not really about the followers. It's more I just have this platform and I like to post on it. So it wouldn't. Yeah, it'd just be like restart. It'd be quite cool, interesting. It'd be like archiving the whole thing and redoing it from scratch again. But yeah, for sure, it's definitely like, for me, I'd probably go more heavy cinema 4D, just 3D animation based work, and just keep pushing that. That's what I want to do. So
yeah,
I just keep doing the same thing, to be honest.
Yeah. No, cinema 4D was really fascinating to me. I knew there was at one point, I think in the fall, there was that one guy who did the cinema 4D thing on the Golden Gate Bridge.
Yeah.
And it blew up.
Insane. Like, that was the craziest thing I've seen. That's what I was saying. Like, I think right now, like, the thing that is growing heavily is animation on Instagram. Especially I mean, it's in a small network, but those people are growing heavily. Like, Justin, I think it's Instagram. When I saw that post, he was on, it was like, he had like, not like 5,000 followers. 2 days later, he was on like 500,000 followers.
It was crazy.
Or something insane. And it's got like 4 million views or something. It's insane how much engagement one video got for his following. It's insane.
Yeah.
Just seeing that was incredible, and then I was like, wow, there's definitely a market for this now, and it's especially because that was like, it's not like like it's quite heavy, like in the sense of what it was showcasing, and it was quite dark, like scary kind of way. But it was just so amazing. Like, it was incredible how he did it. He's so talented.
So 100%. Yeah, no, it was really cool. And then another question, so kind of along the same lines of, or not really, but you're not really heavy posting on any other social networks. Is there a reason behind that?
Yeah, I was always interested in getting into like other networks in some way, but for me, I was like, it's better to just base my time into one place. And YouTube was definitely another place that I was interested. But yeah, I've just always just been like Instagram for now and just kept it like that. I've always been interested into other channels, but I just haven't really like pushed myself in other channels.
Yeah.
I think it definitely is good to be in other channels for sure. Like, I've seen a lot of people like take growth from different places and grow in different places. And like, for instance, Gary Vee, for example, he's on every channel possible and he dominates on every channel possible. But for me, it was specifically I just wanted to stay in a channel like Instagram because it has everything that I need and offer, and like I can post my content there, and it's my kind of like, it's my online portfolio, and that's all that I use it for, really. So I wasn't really trying to drive anything else. Maybe if I didn't work in advertising and I just kind of wanted to do work through my own brand and just do Instagram, then I would have obviously started YouTube, because I would have more probably time to like put into that and like create through that, or start something through other channels. But I feel like at the moment Instagram is just the channel that I need.
Yeah. Do you think ever one day there would be a thought to kind of get into YouTube and stuff? Because I think you can make some really cool videos, whether it be with how you make some of your videos with Cinema 4D and stuff, or if you're talking about fashion, how you create different pieces. Like, I think it'd be cool. Like, do you think that's something you would ever think of doing?
Yeah, for sure. I think for me specifically, I've always wanted to start my own platform as well. So,
cool.
So I'm trying to work into like, I'm quite interested in working in startups and doing all that stuff at the same time. So I've always been thinking about that. So I think I'd rather put more time into doing something like that and create, than now into YouTube. I think YouTube in the last few years it's very like, it's changed. Like, vlogging was huge. Obviously, like in the last 4 or 5 years, it's been crazy. It's blowing, and then it's kind of like dialed back down. Like, music videos have definitely like coming back up. Like, back in the day, music videos was like a thing. Everyone was always looking at them, and then everyone stopped looking at it. But now it's coming back into play. So I think it fluctuates on YouTube in the sense of like video content, but everyone is engaged on Instagram, right? We all are on there. So I feel like on that channel right now is the easiest place to like, and just to keep all your content in one channel is sometimes really good as well, because it keeps, like, instead of having to, I want to go here. But people do, if they really enjoy you, they do want to see other platforms as well, right? So yeah, I think I would get into it for sure. But I think my first priority is trying to start my own thing first before. Yeah.
No, that's cool.
Yeah.
There's a quote I saw on your website, and it says, "I'm a trend creator and seeker. I love the thrill of discovering trends before they become known and truly exist." Are there any trends coming up that you're kind of keeping an eye on that you think might really blow up in the next little while?
In the sense of social?
Social or fashion?
Social for sure. There's a lot of, for me, I still think in the sense of like, some of 3D space is definitely a trend that's coming. Especially I'm interested in VR and AR, and I feel like AR is something that's going to come into social in some way as well. VR heavily, like I've got a studio that I work with back home. Two of my really good friends, and we create like 3D spaces and like 3D galleries. And I feel like there's definitely like an opportunity for like 3D to come into social, because like even for instance Instagram right now, it's a very 2D platform, and it's very not it's very baseline layer, you know, it's not very interactive. So I feel like interactive platforms are coming a lot more like available soon. I was talking to another person with like an interactive new video editing software, which is really cool.
Oh, cool.
It's coming out soon. But in terms of the trend, I think, yeah, I still think 3D space is something that needs to be like touched.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's cool.
Yeah.
And earlier you mentioned how you got exposed to fashion and that industry because of your parents. And your parents, if my research is correct, they're famous hairdressers back home in New Zealand, right?
Yeah, a little, yeah, they are.
Yeah. So how kind of like seeing them work in that industry, how did that inspire you as you were growing up?
Yeah, my parents, yeah, have definitely like they started a business and have been running their business for about 24 years now. So it's been a really good opportunity to learn and grow from like my dad, especially is very like business savvy and also very like startup mentality, especially for New Zealand because it's such a small place. And like I know here in the States, like everyone wants that dream of having a company, and it's been so amazing to be around someone who's like got the drive to create his own thing, and it's definitely taught me to have that kind of like idea of like starting my own thing, having my own company, and having that business mind and wanting to like just do more and more and making an idea actually come to life, you know, and yeah, he constantly has different ideas, business ideas, and like it's really good to learn off because it just helps you like grow as a person and just making dreams come to reality, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've definitely learned a lot from my parents for sure, and been very, very fortunate to be around that and kind of grow from that. And and even being out here, I wouldn't be out here without them for sure. They definitely push me, and me and my sister, they definitely like push us to go out and do what we want to do, and they support us no matter what we do. So I've been very, very fortunate to be in a family and have parents like my parents for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So what's next for you? What do you got coming up?
In terms of working here, just keep growing and like learning a lot more. I definitely want to. I'm just trying to do as much more work outside of work as well. So I'm working obviously my product and try to bring that out soon. Definitely want that out like ASAP. And then just making sure that like my dreams come to reality too. Like I've got a couple other ideas that I need to put into act to do, and just I don't know, just keep working with different brands, keep collaborating with other artists, and like yeah, just keep doing that. I think at the moment, I think especially being here for about 8 months in New York, it's a place that you like grow, but I think you need more than 8 months. So I want to be here for another like year or so, and then see from there. Might go to the UK, and then my overall goal from coming to New York was to come here and make contacts, and then I want to go to Europe, make more contacts, and to Asia, make contacts, and then build my own thing from that. And so we'll see what happens from here, but definitely just want to keep growing for sure.
And what are some of those dreams or long-term goals that you're always thinking about in the back of your head?
Definitely to start my own companies in some way.
Yeah.
And just keep changing. I want to change the industry as well. So my goal is to, like, I do want to start a social platform because I feel like I love Instagram and I love the way that Instagram is what it's doing and stuff. But sorry if I'm jumping off.
No, dude, that's totally okay.
But like, I feel like for Instagram itself, I feel like they're very like company like business oriented, just to try like advertising, right? And I feel like consumers are losing out on a lot of platforms right now because businesses are going through them and kind of just trying to make as much money out of these social platforms as possible. And as a like creator, or like as you as well, with your like how you create as well, we just want a platform to showcase our work, right? And we don't want to lose out on like engagement. We don't want to lose out on people seeing it, and all we want to do is a portfolio, like a platform to show our portfolio. So I want to hopefully in the future create something for that still is always consumer driven over business driven.
Yeah.
And then in terms of like working, like in terms of my overall goals, and for my advertising career is just keep working with brands and creating good work for them, and just learning and growing from that, and then create my own thing for sure. I want to create my own company for sure.
That's awesome. So then as a creator, what do you hope people take away from your content?
To be inspired in some way, and just to feel more engaged in it, and like learn a bit more about like either the company I'm working with through that, or just be entertained. It's kind of like my stuff's really like out there in the face a little bit sometimes, but it's just more to like stop, like when you're scrolling down, there's a lot of people just scroll. I would rather people scroll, stop. I don't care if they don't like. If they stop and like engage it and like see it, then that's what I like for sure. And then I think like also like just another side topic, but like on Instagram, I think commenting is a good way of like taking away this like button and just have like commenting, because commenting is when you feel that connection with with the person, or like with the follower, or with the consumer. So I kind of enjoy when they comment back and like so you see that they're interested or they enjoy the work.
Yeah. So I'm assuming when people are commenting stuff, you do like a good job at like replying to everybody too, just to engage with your audience.
Yeah, for sure. Or just like either if they DM me or whatever, I'll try and always reply for sure. Just like the comments and engage back on their comments. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, that's awesome, man. And before we wrap up here, I just want to do a quick Q&A.
Yeah, for sure.
Just like random questions that don't fit into the regular interview.
Yeah.
So the very first question is, what's a show that you're binging right now?
A show that I'm binging? I'm definitely waiting on Stranger Things.
Yeah?
Season 3 to come out.
Okay.
But other than that, I've been watching... What did I watch? Black Mirror is my favorite TV show of all time.
Okay.
So I've watched the new series of that. I haven't actually had much time. I haven't like fully indulged myself into a show lately because I've been so like busy with stuff outside, like with work and stuff outside of work.
Mm-hmm.
But another one I just finished was Bodyguard. That was good.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. What's your favorite app that's not Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter?
Not Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoy. Just hold up, it'll come to me.
Yeah, man, no worries.
What have I actually been using?
You can check your phone if you need
You sure?
to. Oh yeah, 100%.
I can't even remember. Wow. It's not good if I can't even remember what I've been using. I don't really. So I do use a couple of other apps. My main one is probably Grailed.
Okay.
Which is like where it's for buying and selling clothing.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yep.
I use that like heavily.
Yeah.
And then also Chrono, which is like I'm really interested in watches at the moment, so it's like a platform for watches and like learning about it. Also, my friend just told me about. I haven't actually downloaded it, but I'm about to. It's Robinhood. It's like a new platform for trading, for like buying and selling trade.
Yeah.
For like stocks and stuff. So I think that's going to be a next thing that I'm going to start getting heavily into. Because I was really heavily into crypto and like looking into crypto like last year, like, and then till mid last year, and then obviously with everything happening with that. So so probably like Robinhood probably soon, and Grailed's my definitely like one love.
Yeah.
I'm always on that, always constantly checking, like trying to get good deals on it all the time and stuff like that. So that's been really good.
Yeah,
that's
awesome.
Probably my app that I'm always on.
Yeah. Who are some creators that you follow that you think people should go and check out?
Pangaea, this guy he's like German. He's really good content creator for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy for sure. And then my friend back home, he shoots a lot of my content, Sebastian Bry. He's incredible. Like, he's been insane for me, and his work's incredible. But yeah, I think also Ari. I can't say I'll let you know what his actual IG name is, but his work is incredible as well. Um, but yeah, I think Panchit, that guy's killing it right now.
Yeah.
And yeah, probably that right now.
That's awesome. What's some music you're listening to right now?
James Blake's new album. I've been listening to that pretty heavily lately. It's really good. Obviously my like fallbacks are always like, I love The National, the band. Love Trippy Reed. Always love them. But at the moment, probably James Blake, because it's his new album. So I usually, like, whenever a new album comes out, I'll just like listen to it, especially if it's an artist that I love anyway. It's like something that I'll just binge for a while.
Yeah.
So I've been listening to that for sure.
Are there any books you'd recommend?
I'm more like digital, so I love like all video work, but in the sense of books at the moment, no, I don't actually have any like.
That's cool.
Magazines I definitely do. If you want to check out any like fashion-based magazines, there's my favorite magazine is, excuse my French, but Fucking Young, it's called. It's like a really cool Spanish magazine. I think it's from like Spanish, I think. Yeah, it's really cool, so definitely check that out.
Yeah.
And O32C's always been, I love. But yeah, those two are really good.
Yeah.
I'm more like magazine / article heavy than like read.
Yeah. Are there any podcasts that you listen to?
Yeah, obviously my social.
I appreciate that.
But then Blamo is really cool. He's like from New York. He's like interviews a whole bunch of more fashion-based people, like people that work for GQ, editorial photographers, everything. He's really good. Hypebeast Radio is good if you want to learn about streetwear and like, and then yeah, that's kind of the two. But Blamo's probably the one that I listen to a lot for sure.
Yeah. Do you have any morning and night routines?
Yeah, so I love sport and so I gym in the morning and gym at night. So workout, do an early workout, and then also always, it's like a routine for me. And I can't not do it during this. Every day I have to work out some way. So for me, I work out, both during the week I work out morning and night. At night more, like for longer times, and then on the weekends I work out for about 3 or 4 hours. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm kind of like obsessed. Yeah, it's probably not that good, but I'm always trying to work out for sure. And then other than that, that's probably my main routines.
Yeah. Are there any must-eat spots in the city?
Excuse me?
Any must-eat spots like in New York?
For sure. So my favorite place is Kiki's. It's like this Mediterranean place downtown. There's like down in Chinatown area. That's really good. Birds of a Feather is amazing. It's in Williamsburg. It's like this Chinese kind of like fusion place. The place is incredible. And then there's so many places in New York. I'm just always like finding more and more. There's another one called 42 Monroe that's really good. It's the same owner as Kiki's. But I keep stumbling upon new spots all the time.
Yeah.
Like got the like go-to cafes, and it's really good in New York. There's something always popping up, or not even just popping up. You've always got something new to go to. So
yeah, that's awesome. So this next question I stole from Gary Vee. It's what are you obsessed with? But it's not from like a high level. Like it's from a very like nitty gritty specific level. Like I recently got these new shoes, and I'm just obsessed with my new shoes or something like that.
Yeah. What am I obsessed? This was the shirt that I was really obsessed with before I got it, and then I got it. But like in sense of like my lifestyle, I am a heavily Christian. So Jesus is someone I'm definitely heavily obsessed with.
That's awesome.
Especially being out here in New York, that's another thing. Being a part of a church has been really helpful for me. I made like a really good group of friends right now from that, and it's been like when you're out in a place like this in such a big world, to feel you do need like having obviously it was definitely like made me feel a lot more like part of the place. And feel not alone because of that. But for sure. But then at the moment just probably this if it's a piece of clothing. This is being like Prada's being like my thing right now. So just been like trying to pop into Prada.
Yeah, that's awesome. Next question. What are three things on your bucket list?
Three.
Yeah.
For sure, travel a lot more. Work and travel, especially like going to Paris, obviously for work. I love working in the industry that I'm working in, but traveling with it is the best thing. So, bucket list, just travel a lot more, for sure. Especially I want to go live in Asia for a while.
Oh, cool.
So that's another bucket list, and then definitely to start 3 different companies. So start my platform, start my business, and start my life advertising film.
That's cool.
And just dominate the world. That's kind of what I want to change the world. For sure.
That's awesome, man. So you're going to dinner. You can take 3 people. They can be dead or alive. It could be anyone from any time. Who would you take to dinner with you?
Good question. Jesus for one, for sure. I don't know. Another one probably. I love. I feel like Elvis Presley is just the true legend, for sure. And then probably my last one would probably be Raf Simons. He's like my favorite designer of all time.
Cool.
So I'd love to be able to like talk to him and chat to him. So I think like taking someone from music, because he's just overall like killer. And then obviously Raf is like, and then I think that would be my 3. I think. Because it kind of covers all 3 things that I love, so for sure.
That's awesome. What's the best advice you've ever gotten?
Best advice is definitely for a lot of like just from multiple people. It's more just like definitely doing. If you enjoy it, do it. And for me, even if it's like for me, what I've learned, no matter what you do, and no matter what you love, you will. If you want to make money, for instance, in this world, it's not all about making money. But if you love to do what you do, you will make money in that. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So no matter what it is, if you put time and put everything in it, then you will be successful. That's a better way of saying it. Instead of saying, if you put time in something that you really enjoy, then you'll be successful in it. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, and like doing something that you really do love, like. Having hobbies is really good and keeping them hobbies, but sometimes making it actually your day-to-day is also really good.
Yeah.
So like what I'm doing now, like creating or being an art director or whatever, is something that I love to do on the outside of work, but actually doing it day-to-day makes every day so much more fun. Especially and working for a brand or like a company that I enjoy working for. It definitely makes a difference when you enjoy what you're doing, right? So I think just make sure if you're not happy where you are right now, what people have told me, if you're not happy, make sure you are happy, because then your life, it's going to make your life so much more fun.
Yeah. That's awesome. What's one thing about you people wouldn't expect?
A lot of people don't expect that I love sport. That's because, like, especially if I see someone from work at the gym or whatever, they don't recognize me. They're like, what? They're like, I say hi, and they're like, who are you? I think that's one thing that people don't expect, because I love fashion or whatever, and I just kind of don't. I think sports definitely, like, sport was my thing before anything. Like, I wanted to be a professional cricketer when I was younger. I still do want to play professional sport, but I think from day one it was definitely that, and then obviously now working it's a little bit hard to be. But sports definitely being like a thing that people don't expect from the day to day. If we just meet, it's probably one thing. Yeah,
that's cool. What's one thing that's so important everyone should know?
What about me, or about
just in general, like something that's so important that you think everybody should know about it?
We're here on Earth for a purpose, and we should make the most of it, I think. And I feel like we should all care about everyone, for sure, especially in the world right now. People are like trying to get to the top no matter what they do. And I feel like, well, we should be all caring for everyone and really like helping each other get to the top.
Yeah.
And yeah, I would rather like see someone else get to where they want to be than just myself get to where I'm going to be. So I want to help people on the way of doing that, you know. And that's why I like collaborating with other people, because it's a network. It's not like you're using someone just because you're using them. It's because you're making connection with that person. And when you collaborate, then you both get to where you want to be going, if that makes sense.
No, I really like that.
Yeah.
That's good.
So definitely like help others while trying to get to, like, work together to get to where you were trying to go.
Mm-hmm. For the last question, I like to flip the script, and I like to ask you, what is one thing that you want to know the answer to? Like, what's one question that you don't know the answer to that you'd love to know?
What's next for this world? I feel like what's coming, like how, you know, like what's happening, and then kind of just like I don't know, or what people I'm not really, my question, I don't really know. It's what would you say for that?
I don't know. I've never actually thought about that question, if I'm being completely honest. Like, I don't think about the questions I ask half the time. I've had some interesting answers, though. Like, some people want to know, like, is Tupac really dead? Was like one of the questions. Like, some people.
Oh, I've definitely got conspiracy theories. But, I've definitely got conspiracy theories for sure. Yeah. But I don't. Yeah. Or did we really get to the moon? That's probably one.
That's a good question.
But maybe Tupac is still alive.
No, that's awesome, man. Well, I just want to thank you for coming on the podcast, and I want to give you the floor. Let people know where they can find you. Plug everything you got.
For sure. Well, thank you for having me on the podcast.
My
sure.
pleasure.
But yeah, just always, if anyone wants to ever hit me up, just always DM me, or my new website's coming out soon as well, so just hit me through that as well. Anything, just get in touch. I'm always there, no matter what. Don't worry. If you just want to chat, just hit me up. I love talking to people and I love to help out, connect, for sure. And then just stay tuned for this new hair product coming out. I'll look forward to sharing it with you guys.
That's awesome. I want to thank you once again for coming on the podcast. And I want to thank everybody for listening to this episode, whether you've listened the entire way through or you've only listened to bits and pieces. I really appreciate you taking the time to check this out. Do me a big favor, guys. Go check out Blue on Instagram. Again, it's at half of nothing. And as you said, stay tuned for his new product. I'll put it out on the podcast Instagram when it does come out. If you want to follow the podcast on Instagram, it's at MySocialPod. And if you'd like to follow me, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at @TheJacobKelly. Thank you once again for listening, everybody. We'll talk soon.
Perfect. Thank you.